Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, October 28th. It is 6:28 right now. We got market opening up shortly in about a minute. So I'm just doing I'm doing a lot of stuff right now. Like I'm trying to multitask everything real quick. Just trying to get another hedge fund client up and running right now before we get on this live. I think okay. All right, we are good. How to get this client's account up and running. Let's see. Okay, looks like we're good. So, all right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, October 28th. We got market opening up shortly in about 40 seconds. Looking over here at the breakout for the day, if you guys are looking to take the breakout on open, it looks like it's going to be a buy. Um, yeah, it looks like it's going to be a buy here. So if you guys are looking to take the entry, it's going to be a buy here. Market's going to open up shortly in about 20 seconds or so. Obviously, I'm not looking to take this entry right here, but if you guys are looking to take it, these are the statistics for that entry on open. So right here on open, it has a 68.75% probability of it winning for, either direction. Um, I mean, it has a pretty good probability for either direction, buy or sell. So, it's pretty split across the board. But if you're going to go against momentum here, it'd actually be a sell. So depending on what you're looking to take here, if you're going off the algo is actually indicating a sell here, and it looks like the sell here actually won already. If you're just going over the original statistics for the breakout, it would have been for a buy. So it's kind of tricky depending on like what you guys are looking to take here. But it looks like the short position here did hit, as you can see over here on my chart. Short position came through. Um, but for me personally, I don't take the breakout on open. I'm going to be looking for the next opportunity for entry. The next opportunity for entry is going to be at 646. So we got some time here until we get to that point, right? But the first entry for today, the breakout right here at 629, it did hit full TP right there. So if you guys took that, great work. If you guys didn't take it, I mean, I never take the breakout on open. You guys already know that because obvious reasons here, right? But price did come down right there and it played through as price went directly to the downside. So there goes the first one. Let's see who's here so far. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Rev. Morning, Jonathan. Morning, everybody. Morning, Mendez. Morning, Maria. Morning, Lila. Morning, guys. Daniel said, "Did you secure the bag?" Yes. So I got two new clients yesterday. Big clients actually from my local area. They're coming in with a lot of cash. There, if you guys are from the area here and you guys are familiar with like Orange or I think it's what is it called? The Orange Circle. So if you guys are part of, or if you guys are familiar with like Orange County and you guys know where the Orange Circle is, like these guys own a couple bars down there. So pretty cool. Thanks to Magic, one of my friends from the gym, he actually connected me with these guys. So I think I'm going to be playing golf like almost every week now because I realize I met a couple other people on the golf course. Like it's kind of cool. Like if you play by yourself or you play with one other person, you get paired with like a couple random people. And the people who are playing golf on a random Monday at like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., like most of these people are like business owners. So, I think I might just start playing golf like every week and just get clients that way as well. Um, because usually these people have money and they're always looking for something to invest in because they're always looking to make more money. So yeah, and another big thing too, guys. So StoneX, this is the broker I was talking about. So if you guys are a part of the hedge fund, we're going to be moving over to StoneX. We're just finalizing some of the details. StoneX is an institutional broker. You can see over here, this is clearing and execution services for the institutional side. So most of you guys are familiar with like, NinjaTrader. NinjaTrader is a discount broker. They're meant for retail traders, but we will be moving over to the institutional side. Hopefully I'm gonna start using them probably this week. And once I get familiar with like the platform and all that stuff, then I'll start to transition all the hedge fund clients from NinjaTrader over to StoneX. Because obviously, we want to trade on the institutional side. We want to be able to drop like 1,000 contracts in the market. We want to be able to move the market, and we also want to get the best possible commissions, fees, prices, etc. So I'm going to be negotiating with them pricing and stuff like that. Basically, what they need me to do is I need to basically move $1 million a day. That's what those are the agreements. Like for me to trade with the institutional broker, I need to move about $1 million a day. So in order for me to do that, I need to have a lot of hedge fund clients, right? Or I need to have a bunch of hedge fund clients with a lot of money so that I can put those types of orders in the market. So pretty exciting stuff, guys. I mean, this is pretty exciting because I started off as a basic retail trader just like you guys, and I'm moving over to the institutional side, which is it's a big step. I mean, going from retail trader to professional trader to institutional trader, and it happened with so quickly, right? I feel like a lot of this stuff just happened within a month period. So yeah, I'm excited for what's to come with us here, guys, because in a sense, if I'm going to be moving like $1 million in volume, per day or per couple days, then it's enough to really move the market, right? Like when I enter a position with like 1,000 contracts, I'll be able to move price like 10 to 20 points, and it's not a crazy amount, but it's a pretty nice push for us to be able to like I'll enter a market order for like 1,000 contracts for buys or 1,000 order for contracts for sells, and we're able to push price like basically halfway to our target because I'm going for 40 points and really actually like make an impact in the market. So super excited for what's to come, guys. Again, we're gonna be moving over to StoneX. Most of you guys are not familiar with StoneX, or you probably won't ever be able to use StoneX unless you're a hedge fund client of mine, because you need to be moving you got to be moving a lot of volume to trade with them, and the fees are a little. I mean, they're up there. So the downside with us moving to the institutional broker is that the fees and expenses are going to go up. So I try to keep things affordable and accessible to like the smaller client, like the everyday investor. But typically, like, to invest in a hedge fund, you have to like have at least like six figures. So I'm probably gonna have to I'm gonna have to pay up and take a pay cut for the first couple months to be able to service, the smaller clients with like 10,000 or less. Um, but in the long run, hopefully, I'll be able to bring in bigger clients so we can kind of offset that. So I'm okay with taking a little bit of a pay cut, or not even a pay cut. Basically have to pay up front the fees and expenses per account to be able to bring you guys on board with me because it's hard to bring smaller clients with little money to the institutional side. But I'm excited, guys. I'm excited because the thing is, if we're able to move that kind of volume, it's going to it's gonna, I mean, our trades should be playing out how they should be. So, well, we'll see.
Connection
But I'll
lost.
keep you guys updated as we progress. We're still gonna use NinjaTrader for now, but once I get familiar with the StoneX platform, then we'll make that transition over. But I kind of have a deadline. I have to start to move that heavy volume within, a month's time, or my fees go up. So, guys, if you guys are looking at the charts here, let's go ahead and take a look at an overall overview of the market. So looking over here at the overall trend, you can see against pretty much all the time frames here, price is above the pivots. The trend meter is green and the pivots are angling up, right? So right here on the 1 minute, price is bullish. 5 minute price is bullish. 15, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour price is above the pivots. Trend meter is green. Pivots are angling to the upside, right? This is going to indicate that we are in a bullish trend. So typically, if you're trading technicals here, you'd probably be looking for some buys. This doesn't necessarily mean I'm looking for some buys, but this is just, a general idea of like where the trend is moving. Now, looking over here at market structure, you can see over here on the 1, 5, 15, 30, 1 hour, and 4 hour, everything is bullish, right? So with that being the case, you can see over here that you probably want to look for buys here, right? Overall trend is bullish. Overall market structure is bullish. This doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to look for buys, but if you guys are trading technicals, I mean, go ahead and look for buys there, of course. Um, like I said before, guys, like I don't really use technicals as much anymore. I've been like doing a lot more back end research and like on interviews and kind of been looking into a lot of these really successful traders, like real traders in the trading world. Um, and what I've come to realize is that a lot of them don't use technicals. Uh, the main people who use technicals are retail traders and basically people on social media. There's nothing wrong with trading indicator. There's nothing wrong with trading technicals and price action, though. What I've recurring theme that I saw from a lot of people over the years is that technicals are good once you have some sort of like stronger catalyst. Like for example, for me, I'm using my algo here to identify the probabilities, right? If you go in with probabilities and then you tie in technicals on top of that, like you have a foundation of probabilities and then you add technicals to like identify where your actual entry points are, that's perfectly fine. But what I've noticed is that if you just go in with just technicals, it's for the most part, it's kind of random. If you guys saw the interview that I posted on the Discord of the other day, so I posted a link over here of this interview. This is with Larry Williams. If you guys have never heard of Larry Williams, if you guys trade ICT, right? So ICT, he always mentions this guy because this guy, the Robbins Cup, right? You guys have heard of the Robbins Cup. ICT always talks about how he's going to win the Robbins Cup, right? This guy is the world record holder of the Robbins Cup. He made 1,000% trading the Robbins Cup. And ICT basically said that he sent him an email saying like, Larry Williams, I'm going to dethrone you and I'm going to be the number one guy. And then ICT goes ahead and goes negative 1,000. Like he's like the worst trader in the Robbins Cup. But it's funny because if you watch the interview, they ask him if he's ever heard of ICT, and he says, I've never heard of ICT. I've heard of ITT, the technical college, but he's never heard of ICT before, which I think is really really funny because ICT like he basically he like he puts this guy like on a pedestal like this is like the main guy to know in trading and that he looks up to, and this guy's never heard of him. Uh, but yeah, if you watch this interview, it's pretty interesting because this guy's been trading for a long time. He's been a money manager. He trades, he's where I got the idea of like, it's okay to add technicals after you have a foundation, but just adding technicals by itself, it's usually pretty random. And the interesting thing too is, so a lot of you guys like to trade Fibonacci's. This guy actually did a study, right? He did a 7-year study on all the levels of Fibonacci. And I know this is going to upset a lot of people because a lot of you guys like to trade Fibonacci. But he did a oh fuck. He did a study on Fibonacci here. Where's the Fibonacci tool? He did a study on Fibonacci here, and a lot of people like to trade the Fibonacci retracements. He tried to figure out like what Fibonacci level has the highest probability of retracement, right? Because people like to catch the Fibonacci retracement and then come back down. He did a study to see which one is actually consistent and it repeats the process, like there's probabilities. And all the levels here have they have no consistency. They're all random. So like it can go to 0.50 as many times as possible, 0.68. Like a lot of people call this the golden range, right? The 0.6618. And he did the study and it showed that it's super random. There's no consistency with like where it actually pulls back to. Every level has the equal amount. So yeah, if you guys didn't see that interview, I think this interview is really interesting to watch, especially if you guys only trade technicals. And it's not me shitting on technicals, it's just me being realistic and you know, um, showing that there's a lot of randomness when it comes to chart analysis. Um, but yeah, anyways, there's no entries here until 6:46. It's right now 6:41, so we got about 5 minutes until we get to 6:46, and we'll be looking for this entry. So let me pull the stats over here for that entry at 6:46. So at 6:46 over here, it's against momentum. Let me pull that up. It's updating my report. Okay, so overall, it has a 62.50% probability of it winning. It's currently in a nice push to the upside right here. Now looking over here at the trade analysis. So out of the overall trades here, it has a 62.50% probability of it winning. It's won 10 out of the 16 recent trades. Now looking over here on the buy side, it had 2 wins out of the 6 previous wins, or so basically 2 wins out of the previous 6 buys. This isn't a very good probability, right? I don't want to take any buys here if I'm going to be looking for this entry. I'd rather look for some sells here. So if you look over here, on the sell side, it has an 80% probability of it winning, right? It has 8 out of the 10 previous sell entries, which is hit. So if I want to be looking to take this entry here, I would be looking for a possible sell. Right now, we don't have a possible sell because we currently have a sell momentum. So in order for us to have this entry here for a sell, I would need price to kind of push up a little bit with the buy signal and then come back down. right? Again, this isn't using technicals, this is using probabilities. So in order for me to take this entry at 646, I need to have a sell entry come up. And in order for me to have that sell entry, I need this to happen, right? I need it to retrace up or reverse or whatever it may be, and then continue right back down. Hey, PC. Hey, Sam. Thanks, PC. Yeah, no, definitely. It's up and running. Super exciting stuff to come with the hedge fund guys, because there's a lot of money coming to the fund. And that's going to benefit a lot of you guys who are the like whoever's a smaller trader. If you guys are coming in with smaller capital, these bigger players who are coming into the fund, they are going to bring a lot of benefit for you because they're going to be able to push market, right? For a lot of you guys who are dropping like, one contract, three contract, five contracts, that's not really going to move market at all, right? This is why I need to to basically bring on bigger clients, because if they're dropping like, 100 contracts, 200 contracts, that's enough to push the market, right? I put the data over here as well, like under the premium. Let's see. So under the premium, I put this data here over the weekend. Like in order for us to really move the market, we need to drop like at least so, if we're dropping like 2 to 5 contracts here, or 2 to 50, if we're dropping 20 to 50 contracts, we might be able to move price in the market like maybe one tick. With 100 to 200 contracts, we could push market about 1 to 2 point or 1 to 3 points. This is where it starts to make a big difference, right? If we start to drop like 500 contracts in the market, we can always move the market at least, around 3 to 10 points. And this is where it makes a huge difference. When I'm starting to drop 1,000 contracts into the market, we'll start to eat through multiple levels. It's clearly visible, and we're able to move the market temporarily. Meaning, if we do take an entry here, for example, for a buy, like say for example, I'm running a trade for the hedge fund, right? And I enter a buy market right here. If I enter a buy market with about 1,000 contracts or so, then I'm able to push price and profit, about like 20 points. So we'll basically have a guarantee, not a guarantee, but we'll be able to push price up to here. And this is where our starting point will be if and when we do take entries with the hedge fund. So this is why it's important that I onboard and I bring on bigger clients, because the more volume we put in the market, the more we can push price in our direction. So, all right, guys, the 646 entry, it looks like it's not going to be coming up. If you guys want to take it, feel free to take it. It's going to be a buy, it looks like. For my algo over here, I pretty much put that I'm looking for a sell. So because it's not a sell, I'm not really looking to take it. But if you guys do want to take it, I mean, you guys can feel free to uh to take it there. Let's see. PC said, I heard you mention taking 1,000 contracts at market order. I hope you know that if you were to do that, then you would immediately go into drawdown due to massive slippage. No, actually, it's going to do the opposite, PC, because if we're entering with 1,000 contracts, it's going to push price to the ups, like in whatever direction we're trading. We're going to be trading with the institutional broker, StoneX. So we're moving over to StoneX. We're going to be trading on the institutional side. So we're going to be dropping block orders in. So actually, it's not going to be going against us. It's going to be going with us because we're going to be pushing market. So. Yeah, I know you had that concern before because, if you're a retail trader, you're trading with NinjaTrader, you're not going to really push market like that because you're going to have slippage. But we're going to be trading on the institutional side, so I'm going to be dropping block orders. So I'm putting a huge order of 1,000 contracts at one. It's going to average out price. So as soon as we enter, we're going to push price immediately in our favor because it's enough to push price in our direction. So yeah, if you're looking from the retail side, I could see where there's a problem, but we're not trading on the retail side anymore. We're trading on the institutional side. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. I mean, it's going to be fun because when you guys see me put orders in, you're going to see market like actually move. Like for example, if I was to hit buy here and I enter with 1,000 contracts or something like that, you're going to see price immediately go into profit, and it's going to be pretty interesting to see that. The only way price will go against us is if someone is trading the opposite way. But the thing is, we're trading in the middle of market, right? We're not trading highs and we're not trading lows. So with that being the case, there's usually not going to be a player in our way, right? Usually the other funds are going to be moving with us. Once our big orders get put into the order book, everyone's going to see it and everyone's going to hop into the same order with us. So it's going to be pretty, I'm pretty excited for when we get to that point, which, I think by next year we should probably be at that point where we'll be able to see that type of stuff. So let's go to 48 over here, guys. We have another entry here at 48. The 46 did not come up. So next one's going to be at 48, which is in about a minute. let's see. So right here at 648. So this isn't a target entry for me. 648, it is going to be a an entry with momentum. If you guys want to take this trade, this is actually going to be a sell. So this is actually going to be a sell. Um, but it's not going to be a target entry. So the reason why it's not a target entry is because it has, fix this. So the reason why I'm not taking this entry right here at 640.48 is because it has a 50% overall probability of it winning for a buy or a sell. So right here you can see it has it only won 8 out of the 16 trades. So it's not really a high probability trade. The buys over here are actually not good. It only won 2 out of the previous 8 entries, 25% probability. The sells over here actually have a pretty decent probability, 75%. So it won 6 out of the 8 entries. The only problem here is that it doesn't balance out to over 65%, right? So I can do the math over here. This is how I calculated whether it's a target entry or not. So basically 50 plus 75 divided by 200. And you guys can see here, I'm very analytical, right? I do everything to the T. Like I don't just guess and I don't have discretion with regard to probability. The probabilities over here don't show that it's above a 65%. So it's not a target entry for me to take. It's above 60%. So it's okay to be put on the list, but it's not an actual entry that I'm looking to actually get into. Yeah, it's not an entry that I'm looking to get into. So if you guys want to take it, it is a short position right here. It's obviously not one that I'm looking to get into because obvious reasons. It doesn't meet the criteria. And we'll be moving on to the next one, which is at 654. So this one's an actual target entry. I'll be updating this real quick. 54, 54. This is going to be with momentum. All right, next entry is going to be right here at 648 or 654. Okay, so what I would like to see here is I'd like to see a buy signal come up. Because looking at this right here at 554, we have a 56.25 probability overall for buys or sells. The wins over here for buys are obviously a lot bigger. It's 83.33% probability. It's won 5 out of the previous 6 entries. The sells here aren't horrible, but they're not great. They're only a 40% probability. And over here, it shows that it's won 3 out of 3 recent Tuesdays. So this trade over here at 654 looks like it could be a pretty solid entry for us to look for. However, we need this buy signal to come up because in order for us to have a buy, we need to have momentum, which is pushing price up, which we don't have right now, right? We need to get that buy signal, which is going to come up. So what I would like to see here is I'd like to see price kind of flatten out, provide a buy signal, and then climb up higher from there. Let's see, Michael's asking, so do we still use Trade-O-Eight Ninja? I mean, you kind of have to, Michael. I mean, you don't really have many options, so you do have to use them. There's nothing wrong with Trade-O-Eight Ninja. I'm just saying that, you're going to be trading on the retail side, which is normal, right? Everybody else trades on the retail side. In order to trade on the institutional side, you have to bring a lot of volume into the market. So there's nothing wrong with Trade-O-Eight Ninja. And then also you're trading with a hedge, well, you're trading with a prop firm. So the thing is, if you're trading with Apex or anything like that, guys, it doesn't really matter who you trade with because you're not trading on the real market, right? Your orders are not going into the actual exchange. So if you guys are trading with Apex, if you guys are trading with whatever prop firm that you're using, you're not in the actual market. You're on a demo account. So it doesn't matter what you put in the market. It's not going to move market. What the orders that actually move market and push price around are like the ones that are entered into the live market. So if you're trading real money. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with Trade-O-Eight or Ninja. I think they're still a great platform to trade on if you're a retail trader. But I'm just saying like for the hedge fund side of things and just hedge fund in general, um, you have to kind of use something that has better executions and whatnot, right? Like to have minimal slippage and to have minimal and just the best possible execution. Um, and so you have to pay a little more to trade with a institutional broker versus a retail broker. The thing is, I didn't realize that there were like a lot of these other brokers out there because we've been trading on Ninja for a while. But yeah, there's a lot of different aspects of broker side and the market in general. So guys, looking over here at 654. The entry is going to come up pretty soon. I was hoping this buy signal to come up. It's pending right now. So this candle right here has a pending buy signal. I need that buy signal to close in order for us to have an entry here at 654. So this here has to close. There you go. Perfect. It's closed. So this looks like it could be a possible entry right here at 654. So I'm looking for this here to provide opportunity for entry here for a buy. What I need to see here is I need to see like a green candle or some sort of green candles kind of push price up further so that we can, continue to ride this back up. We do have a lot of space here for price to climb up higher if that becomes the case. So it does look good for the most part. I just don't want it to be overextended, of course. Which I think should be fine. So we got 15 seconds left on this candle. The 654 candle is going to come up shortly in about 10 seconds. So no entry yet, but we're going to be waiting for this next candle here to close. All right, so as long as this candle doesn't close super huge, then I'll be getting into this here for a buy. Just don't want it to close like crazy. Sometimes it does. All right, we got 30 seconds left on this candle. So I want this candle to close pretty normal. If it closes too big, it's going to be due for retracement, so I probably wouldn't want to take it, but closes normal, I'll be getting into it right here. About 15 seconds till candle closes. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Order submitted. Or
What count is that? 5029.
order
Block
filled.
that. All right, so let's see. I'm in the position right here. Again, we're trading the probabilities. Whatever happens with this trade, it's fine, whether it wins or whether it loses. We entered this based off the probability. It has an overall probability of 56. I'll check that in a little bit. I need to make sure the stats here line up. 75. Okay, looks good. And profit about 20 points. It is pushing up right there. Okay, so the reason why we entered into this position is that we have an overall probability of 56.25. This shows that it won 9 out of the 16 previous entries for a buy or a sell. The reason why we took the buy here is because it has an 83.33 probability of it winning for a buy. You can see over here it won 5 out of the 6 previous buy entries, right? So with that being the case, there you go, full TP. What a fucking move. What a move right there.
Target filled.
All right, guys, great move right there. Amazing. See, I just told you guys, right? I said when we enter a position, I'm dropping so many contracts. I created this right here. Literally no drawdown because what happened is I dropped so many contracts in the market and then it showed on the order book. So this is fucking crazy. You guys see this? I created this shit, like this big spike to the upside. The thing with this here, it's crazy because there's an order book, right? You see a book of all the entries and it shows that someone is dropping shitload of contracts in the market. And then when people see that, they're like, oh fuck, someone's pushing price up. So everybody jumps onto our position. That's why it was flat for a little bit, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh shit!" There's like, you know, like I created basically that move there. I showed in the market dropping real contracts that like for example, this candle closed right, and then you see like a list of trades here on the side. Where's the list of trades? You can't see it on here, but basically you'll see like, okay, someone is dropping 5 contracts, 10 contracts, 20 contracts, 100 contracts. And then when they see that, like all the other retail traders are like, oh shit, someone's like, there's a big play, there's a hedge fund pushing price. So what happens is right here, everybody kind of gets, they get FOMO and they jump in and they spike price up and then, and then it comes right back down. So, yeah, rates work right there. Let me see. Unfortunately, one of my hedge fund clients, she has her account set to liquidation only. I'm gonna have to message you. Or Chantel, if you're on here right now, Chantel, unfortunately, your account did not take the trade. You're the only one that didn't take the trade on the hedge fund. I'm gonna message her right now, actually. Get a hold of her. Let me message her real quick, and I'll show you guys the profits. Our next entry is at 7 o'clock. It's not a target entry, so that's fine. I got some time here. Rev said, "Wow, what a beautiful trade and crazy candle." Lamar said, "That's dope." CJ said, "I'm glad you created that blast." This right here, Jonathan said, "Beautiful trade, full TP analysis helps so much." Ed said, "Beautiful entry." Talani said, "Thanks, bro." Jarrell said, "Whoa." Chris said, "Amazing. That was nice." Daniel said, "Blasted." CJ, money. iPhone to jack my contract size up on this one. Let's get it. Yeah, no, definitely. Ned just said crazy. Smith said, "How many real contracts are you dropping?" I'm dropping about like about 200 contracts. So it's not enough to spike price up. Like I didn't create this big spike right here, right? I created the little spike right here. Like I was able to push price maybe a few points, right? I have the data over here that shows. So let's see. I'm dropping about 100 to 200 contracts. So I can push price up maybe 1 or 3 points, like very, very little. But it's enough to push price up because what happens is once I drop this many contracts in the market, other people are going to follow it, right? Like people see it there and then they see there's orders getting put into the market and then they try to jump in. If you guys have heard of the DOM, I think, I mean, you can't see the DOM here, but there's a DOM. It's called depth of market. Or if you guys trade order flow, you guys will see the numbers. I think you can kind of see order flow here. Let me see. So let me go to this chart right here, volume footprint. So for example, here, if you wanted to see volume footprint, so if I zoom in a little bit, see these orders right here? You can see how many contracts get put in. See how there's like a number of contracts? Um, like I got in right at the opening of the candle, right, which is like right here. So you can see my contracts get filled right there. I'm not, they kind of got filled at different price. You can see about like 200 contracts got put into the market right here, or whatever it may be. I don't know where it's at, somewhere like that. But anyways, oh no, it's right here. Sorry, it was on this candle because we entered at what time did we enter from? I don't know why the order flow here, but anyways, I was just showing you guys like basically or we entered right here actually. Sorry. So right here at 654, you guys can see the contracts kind of getting filled into the market, right? Right here on the buy side. So like whenever I put my contracts in, they start to show up here on the order flow. So a lot of people like to just if they see the order flow here, flip the delta or whatever, they jump in and they try to chase the position. So what happened is we got in at the bare floor, like literally right here. And then once they started to see a lot of contracts getting filled in the market, they just jumped in and then they helped us push our price to our target. So this over here. I feel like PC is always trying to be a smartass, right? Visual. PC, I always swear like you're on the YouTube and you're always trying to be a smartass, bro. I don't know what's your problem, but you're always trying to be a smartass. Like um and then every time I prove you wrong, you try to come back with like an even smarter, like more smart ass response, bro. I mean, honestly, you could think whatever you want, PC, because every time you mention something, it's always probably wrong for the most part. It's like you're trying to you're preying on our failure here, bro. You're like, oh, if you drop 1,000 contracts, it's gonna go negative. Okay, I dropped 200 contracts here, bro. Where was my negativity there, right? You just debunked yourself right there, bro. You said if I drop contracts and I'm gonna get slippage, and let me show you all my profits here, bro. I'm gonna show you all the profits to show you that you're wrong again. Uh, Here I'm gonna and I'm not doing this to make funny, bro, or to spite you, but like I'm kind of trying to spite you, bro, because you're always I swear like you're always here trying to be like right and you're not right, bro. Like just come to the realization that you're not right here. Because I'm gonna show you all the profits I locked in for all the hedge clients. And I want you to explain this. How did I make this much profit when price was supposed to go against me? Because of slippage. Because I'm doing this every day, bro. Like I'm doing this every day, and like you just don't get it, bro. You really just don't get it. Um, yeah, but it's okay. I'm gonna show you, but there's no other entries here for me to take right now. And well, whatever it is, it is. There's another entry right here. So this is not going to be an entry for us. We have an entry right here at 702. Uh, so looking at this right here, we have this entry at 702, but it's not going to be an entry for us because I'm looking to take a buy here, but this is going to be a sell entry. So let's see. I know, like, PC, you're the guy that said, bro, when I told you I was starting the hedge fund, you're asking like, oh, if you're gonna start a hedge fund, then what are you hedging? And I'm like, bro, just because it's called a hedge fund doesn't mean you're hedging. You could trade a multi-strategy or a directional strategy, and then like, it just doesn't make sense, bro. Like you're just trying to say something to sound smart, but you're not sounding smart, bro, at all. Here, let me see. I'm gonna go and put a screenshot of this right here for our trade for the day. I need to put this in order so that we know what trade we took. So let's see, we took this, or actually I need to take an actual screenshot so that we can see the actual entry right there. But there's no entries right now, guys. Don't worry. There's nothing to take right now at the moment. We might have something at 709, but we're looking for trade to be with momentum, so we'll see. So the one over here at 709 is with momentum, and it's going to be a sell. We'll see if that comes up. If it comes up, great. If it doesn't, then there is no need to look for that entry there. We just have one entry at the moment. This one was at, let's see, 646. It's the same entry we took on 22nd. So on the 22nd right here, we took that same entry at 646 and it did hit full TP. So this is the entry right there. And let me show you guys the profits from that entry. Because apparently if you enter with 100 contracts or something like that, the trade is supposed to go against you. I heard from PC over here. I heard that you're going to get slippage and you're not supposed to make profit on the trade. But I mean, it looks like price didn't go into drawdown at all for us here. So it actually did the opposite. It went in our direction of our trade. And um, and I think this profit was, I guess I was supposed to lose this trade, but I guess I didn't. I guess I won this trade and I got full profit on it. There's no slippage actually. It worked in my favor. But what do I know? But what do I know, right? I guess I was supposed to go negative with this and I was supposed to have negative 600, but it's actually positive. And like this is a real account over here where I made 3,000 on my personal, but I'm assuming this was supposed to be negative three. I don't know. I might have clicked the wrong button. Okay, guys, so I'm done messing around. But yeah, I just wanted to make that clear that I know what I'm doing, guys. I know what I'm doing here. I mean, you guys can doubt me as much as you want, but but yeah. All right, let's get back to this market. So anyways, guys, we have an entry over here at 709, which is supposed to be a sell. I'm not going to take this entry here because you can see how market structure here is actually going sideways. So there's not enough momentum or volatility here. There's a and David, you made some pretty good profit on that. Or not? Yeah, David, are you here? Yeah, I think David's here. Yeah, David, you made a pretty good profit on that, bro, because you're dropping, what'd you drop? 15 contracts? Yeah, bro. Nice work, David. You and Ali, you guys both dropped 15 contracts on that one. So nice work. Nice work, guys. Anyways, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to hop into the chat. I know we were kind of just joking around previous, guys. I don't have any spite against anyone. Like really, I don't. It just gets annoying sometimes when people just, when they try to go against our entry or they try to go against our analysis or just, whatever it may be. Um, I'm following my strategy and I'm following my trading plan. I'm following everything here that I plan on doing. So I'm going to keep following my plan here. There's an entry at 709, which is coming up shortly. Again, I don't think it's one that I'm going to take personally because I don't like how price action and market structure here is moving. It's going back and forth right here. As price continues to move along, there's a possible entry here, but like so I mentioned. right here at 709, let's just put the stats into the one right there. Toke, yeah, Toke said this was my first entry. So excited. Yeah, so the thing is like, as we continue to bring on more clients, we're going to have more volume in the market. So with the more volume in the market, it's just going to help us even more. So the main point that I was trying to bring earlier is not the fact that we're spiking price, right? So we don't push price up like this. What we do is we initiate the start, right? So looking at this over here, we got into the position. And when we got into the position, we were able to push price a little bit, right? Not a lot, just a little bit, because like I said, I'm only dropping a certain amount of contracts in the market, right? So like I mentioned earlier, I'm in this range right here. I'm able to push price maybe like 1 to 3 points. But the thing is, once we push the price 1 to 3 points, a lot of other retail traders and institutions, they start to see that someone is pushing price and they try to bandwagon onto that move, right? They jump into the position with us. So, like I said, I didn't make this big spike happen, but I was able to push price up a little bit. So people were starting to follow our position, right? So that's the point that I want to get across to you guys. We're not here pushing price like 100 points, right? This thing pushed up, let's see. This thing spiked up like 50 points. Maybe in the future, if I'm dropping like 1,000 to 2,000 contracts, maybe in that sense, yeah, I could maybe push through levels. But right now, I'm not able to really do that, right? Hopefully by next year we'll be able to move price like that, but like right now that's just not the case. Anyways, if you guys are looking to get into this 709 entry, right here it has a 62.50 probability of it winning overall. Now looking over here at the directional move, so for sells here it has an 80% probability, right? It won 4 out of the 5 previous entries. This entry right here is going to be a sell. So if you guys want to take it, take this trade at your own risk. The reason why I'm deciding not to take it is because of the market or the market volatility in a sense, right? The market volatility here is going is going sideways. It's just kind of flat. So when the market goes flat like this, then usually this is good for reversals, not for directional moves. Yes, CJ. That is the one. Yeah. All right. So other than that, guys, I'm not in this position right here. Like I said, market here is going sideways. So I don't know if market here is going to just stay flat for a while or if it's going to move. Obviously, when we're going with momentum, we want price to be pushing. Like for example, right here, we took this trade that was with momentum, right? The reason why this trade looked good is because market already flattened out right here, and then it started to push to the upside. Vice versa over here. This is just kind of going sideways, so we don't really care for this as much. So for example, if we had a sell signal right here and I had price start to drop from this point right here, right, lower and lower and lower, then okay, great. I would take the entry down here. But because it didn't happen like that, it's not one that I was looking to take. We have one last entry, guys, right here at 721. So at 721 over here, we have another opportunity, which is going to be against momentum. This one could actually be pretty decent. I mean, it kind of depends on like where price ends up going. But right here at 721, this is going to be opposite. So we're looking for a possible sell here, right? Looking at this right here, you can see that. So let me change the stats over here because we're not looking at this entry anymore. Okay, actually I have it up already. So for this specific entry, and let me change this for the algo settings. Okay, so looking at this here, it has a 68.75% probability of it winning overall. So whether it's a buy or a sell, it has a pretty nice probability. Looking over here at the trade analysis. So again, like I said, it won 11 out of the previous 16 entries, 68.75% probability of it winning for a buy or a sell. Now looking over here at buys, it doesn't have a super great probability, but it has a good probability, right? It has a 55.56. So it won 5 out of the previous 9 entries right here. With that being the case, I mean, buys could be okay, but I'm not looking for buys, right? Last night, I already made a decision that I'm going to look for sells. So you can see over here, I put that it has a 68.75 probability overall for a one-to-one. It's my target entry. This is the part that really matters. So the sells over here have an 85.71 probability of it winning. This is based directly off numbers. You can see it won 6 out of the previous 7 entries, right? I'll take those odds. So with that being the case, if the entry comes up here for a sell, I might take it. Again, it just kind of depends on the volatility of market, right? Look, if you can see over here, these candles are extremely small. You don't want to trade when market's sitting flat like this. You want to be trading when market's moving. The reason why not trading when market's flat like this is because the stop loss is so tight, right? We keep talking about this, that like, if the market goes flat, this becomes a problem because our stop loss is so tight that if price just goes back and forth for like a couple minutes, it could easily stop you out before it comes down into profit, right? You don't want to trade in those types of markets. So I know we're not using technicals to identify things here in the market, but I mean, realistically here, we're trying to like take the highest probability trade, right? We have the foundation right here because we already know this trade has a 68% probability overall and an 85% probability of a sell there. But the thing with this here is that we want price to actually be moving. So we know price is going to come down. It's just a matter of when and how, right? So the way that I approach the market, guys, is I approach it from a very scientific background, right? Like it's like kind of arguing with someone that the earth is flat, right? If someone argues with me that the earth is flat, I'm not even going to give them time of day. I'm like, okay, whatever. You think the earth is flat? Perfect. But science says otherwise. So same with trading here, right? If you're trading technicals, it's kind of like you're kind of in a earth is flat type argument because you can argue both ways, right? You can argue that price is going to come down because we're in a bearish trend. You can argue that price is going to come up because we're at a support level, right? I just pretty much debunked that right there. There's two different analysis. Like people will identify the trend who are trading to the downside, and then people are going to identify the buy to the upside because they think it's at a support, right? That's why for me personally, I don't trade directly off technicals. I trade directly off the fundamentals here, which is the science basically, right? We have the numbers here, we have the logic behind it. We know that price is likely to push down because we have the numbers here. Once you have the numbers down in place, then at that point, okay, you can use technicals to back up your analysis, right? So we're already looking for a sell here. Now we look at the overall, structure or whatever, and you can see over here that okay, the trend is bearish. That's okay, it's going to improve on your confluence, but it's not going to dictate my position. Same with the market structure down here. So just keep that in mind, guys. There's nothing wrong with trading technicals, but I would highly advise that if you're going to trade technicals, have some sort of probability and bias before you actually get into that based off the technicals. Because the thing is, this can easily just shift back up, right? There's no need for price to continue dropping. I mean, realistically here, this thing could just move wherever it wants to go, especially if you're trading on the 1 minute time frame. Right. So like people always joke around about how like the 1 minute is like very noisy and it is noisy, right? If you're trading on the higher time frames, like say the 4 hour, then okay, there's going to be less noise here because obviously price, follows in the direction. But again, it doesn't matter what time frame you guys are trading on, as long as you guys trade with some sort of foundation probability, then you can use other confluences on top of that to make it better, right? So like look at this right here, right? Price is bouncing up. What do you think the reason is for this to bounce up? It's not really because of support and resistance. Like, if you're trading technicals, people will say, oh, this is pushing up because it's at a support. This is really not at a support. It's really just being exhausted, right? The sellers here are exhausted and now price is pushing back up because buy orders are starting to come into play. This is the difference between market makers and market takers, right? Market makers create market, market takers take market from the market. So like they basically open interest goes up or open interest goes down because there's going to be two different players in the market. There's market makers and market takers. If you guys want, and I've learned that from like learning from different quants out there in the world, uh, quant analyst who trade at other hedge funds. Like I mentioned, guys, I'm always learning. So like I'm always watching interviews with different quant traders that are established in the space. I'm watching interviews from different hedge fund managers, and I'm understanding how they read the market and how they perceive the market, and I'm applying that to my own trading here. So like for me, I don't really care about support and resistance. If you watch that interview that I mentioned with Larry Williams, if you guys saw it over the weekend, he kind of explains that too. Like it's you can trade support resistance, but like realistically, you're really trading the exhaustion of price movement. And right here, looking at current price, it is kind of going back and forth. So again, like I said, if you guys want to take this entry at 721, I mean, feel free. But well, we just don't have anything here right now. So because price is going back and forth. So the volatility and the momentum isn't really pushing in a direction. So if you want to take the sell here, what I would look for is look for no sell signal, like look for this buy signal here to stay, and then look for this here to continue dropping lower past the, wherever price has been at right here. Not based on the technicals, but based on, the momentum and the volume of price. CJ, I decided message. Yeah, Parker, I agree with you 100%. I usually am pretty good about it, but sometimes things just kind of build up over time, especially when it's like one thing that just keeps nagging and nagging and nagging. So, yeah, Darren said if it's not too much of a hassle, can I ask how to generate the top right corner algo list of recommended trades for other assets like Nasdaq and gold? So you would do the same thing that you would do with YM, Darren, but you would just change your TP stop loss because TP stop loss is different, right? So here, I will let's wait until this entry right here at 721, and then I'll go over that in a few, Darren, because that's going to be our last entry anyways. So let's just wait until 721. I just want to make sure we can identify that entry, and if it's not there, then it's not there. And then I'll go over and I'll try to explain to you how to adjust the algo settings to look for screened entries for NQ, gold, whatever the asset may be. You could use it on pretty much anything. Yeah, Lila. Exactly. David caught it on his prop firm as well. Nice. Yeah, Ryan, I agree with you 100%. Oh man, Joe said luckily hit TP before his laptop crashed. Okay, so we have nothing here right now, guys. Like I said, the entry here is going to be for a sell. It looks like it's going to come up. The sell signal never came up, so this is actually going to line up pretty nicely. If you guys want to take it, again, take it at your own risk, but just be advised that like the market here is not it's not moving very smoothly. Okay, so the entry's going to come up right here, guys. It's going to close in about 30 seconds. If you guys want to take it, again, take it at your own risk. I personally don't recommend taking this trade. I'm not going to take it myself. The thing with this is that price is going back and forth within this range, right? And I don't feel comfortable holding on to this position if it just ends up ranging within this area for where it's currently at. Like if it ranges within here, our stop loss is so tight that we can get stopped out very quickly before it goes down, right? So for me, if we have a bunch of contracts, so if I'm dropping like a lot more contracts, then in a situation like this, I'll feel a little more comfortable. But I'm not dropping that many contracts right now. Like I can maybe push it a couple points, but not enough to like, drop it 40 points to our target. So yeah, nothing there. Nothing there for me. I'm just leaving this here for you guys if you guys are looking to take it. Again, like I said, any pullback here is very tricky because with the pullback there, it can easily stop you out before it goes down in a profit. So again, right there, I made the perfect decision to skip this trade because it just did not align with what I was looking for with regard to momentum and volatility. So, yep, Drill set of it too. Nice work, Drill, on taking taking the knee there and just waiting for it because that was probably the best decision. All right, so with that being the case, let's see. Solange said, so against trades, it's always preferable to see a break and close, not just the squeeze. Um, that breaking close would invalidate the fair value gap to be fair. So what I typically like to see with a trade like this, Solange, is not necessarily a break and close, but I like to see volume start to push in a direction, right? So for example, just let's go back to our previous entry right here. So see how price had a momentum push to the downside? And then right here, there's an exhaustion of price, right? So price starts to slow down here a little bit, and then it flipped the other way. This is the same thing that I would have looked for right here for the for any trade really with momentum or against momentum. Like I would have liked to see something right here where price, like not this flat movement, but I would have liked to see price push up higher, get flat, and then start to drop down a little bit. So I guess yeah, with your analysis there and your with your the way that you see it, I agree that like it kind of looks like a break and close past, the slowdown period over here or the consolidation or the structure, but you don't want to like tie it too much to the technicals, right? You want to make sure that it's like actually moving. Like you want to see this move right here, like a move, not necessarily a break and close, but you do want to see a move, like a big move like this. See how price flattened out, and then these candles over here were basically the hint. This is where I already made my decision. Like when price here started to flatten out, when I started to see these two candles right here, I started to see volume pick up, right? Volume and momentum. That's when I was like, okay, I'm going to take this trade for a buy because, it started to flatten out right here, but I didn't get scared when it started to flatten out because I already knew the momentum right here was pushing up, or I guess draw these candles pushing up like that. Exactly. Yeah. Momentum before the signal. 100%. Cal said, thanks for the morning entertainment and the W. Darren said, sat out of that right there. First win. Thank you, Sean. Definitely, Darren. And Rashida sat out as well. Yeah, no problem. So those are all my entries for the day, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. I'm gonna go through and answer, or let me finish updating my Trader Sync real quick, and then I'll answer some questions. I'll answer Darren's question actually. So, like I said, guys, you're going to have a list of entries here, but you still have to have some sort of discretion to know which trades to take, which trades not to take, right? The algo only helps you to some extent. The algo will give you probabilities and it'll set you to this foundation where like you can make a decision and take a trade. But when the trade actually comes up, you still have to make that decision. You have to understand, market structure, market volatility, market momentum. Just because the algo tells you there's a probability, you got to remember that this probability is not 100%, right? So for example, the 721 entry, it was a 68.75 probability. So if you do the math here, just do the math and just like I said, we do everything from a science perspective and science background. So like 68.75, this is the probability that the trade was going to win, right? And then you got to remember that there's a probability that's going to lose. So you got to understand, is that risk worth taking or is that risk worth sitting out of? So you subtract that by 100, and then here you have a number, right? You're like, okay, 68% I'll probably win. 38% I could lose. So you got to decide, okay, to do the market factors here, are they going to lean in your favor or are they going to lean against you? Or are they going to kind of screw with your position? So right here, I saw that market was going sideways and I'm like, yeah, it's not really that great, right? If we had like maybe an 80%, right? So say for example, like I had a 98% probability of it winning. And then there's only a 2% probability of it losing, right? In that situation, I'm like, okay, I would take the bet. I would take that chance because it's such a high probability. But you'll see that with trading, you're never going to have the high probability, guys. It's like almost impossible for you to get that on a consistent basis. Maybe like once or a few times you'll see that happen, but for the most part, you're not going to see that happen. It's just not realistic. If that was the case and there was like 90%, 98% probabilities of trades winning all the time, everyone would be winning. So you just want to keep that in mind when you guys are trading and doing certain things in the market because you don't want to put your like you want to put trust in a trade, but you don't want to put 100% of your trust in a trade just because the number says it will. Okay. So I just want to get that across to you guys so that you guys understand that. You guys got to just remember that trading is never going to be 100% and you have to be okay with losing, right? Like if I lost this trade here, I said that as soon as we got into the position, right? As soon as we got in, I said, I don't care if we win or lose this trade. We went off the numbers lined up properly, the market lined up properly, and I was just trusting the trade that I was going to push through and did it what it needs to do. So just something there to keep in mind. So, all right, let me go ahead and just update my trader sync real quick. And then once my trader sync is updated, then we will, and these are my, I might have another trade down here for this week, but let me go over here real quick and put this. Uh, all right, just give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to update my trader sync because it takes a while for it to update. And the thing with the trader sync, guys, is that it's not updating all my accounts, okay? It's only updating like maybe half of them. Because the thing is we have like, another 50 hedge fund clients. And in order for me to update the trader sync, I have to log into every single account. So you guys can imagine, how long that would take for me to do that. Okay. All right. So with that being the case, let me see if there's anything else here that I need to check or double check, whatever it may be. Let's see. Sam is asking, Sean, what's your bias for today? So, I mean, it looked like it was going to be here. Let's just take a look real quick. Let's just confirm that. So, bias for today is looking kind of bullish, Sam. Looking over here across the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour, you can see here that price is above the pivots. The trend meter is currently blue right here on the 1 minute, but it's currently green on the 5, 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour, right? So, with that being the case, I mean, overall bias here, it looks very bullish. The 1 minute here is starting to confirm bullish again, but everything here looks pretty bullish for the most part. On top of that, looking over here at market structure. So market structure down below, you can see over here on the 1, 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour, it's all bullish, right? So with that being the case, you probably want to look for some buys here. The 5 minute is currently neutral, but it's probably going to shift as price continues to climb up higher. So for the most part, um, the buys here do look better than the sells if you're looking from a technical perspective. With the algo here, I don't really have probabilities for like that direction because I mean we just don't really have anything that's one-sided, but for the most part, it looks good for buys here overall. So hopefully your trading's going good, Sam, because I know you're trying to get those moves in between as well. But we'll see. Yeah, so Sam over here said sweep at 47,993, maybe 47,993. Okay. Okay, got you. So you're looking for the retracement. Or you're looking for the reversal right here. Okay. Actually, you might be looking for the sell. I see what you're looking for. You see the liquidity right here, and you're looking for a sweep at this point, right? There could be a sweep there. It's an untested high. So, I mean, that sweep could happen. It looks like you're probably going for like 15 points or so, right? Here, let's see. Let me run the algo for you, actually. See, this is the cool thing about this right here is that I can run the algo at this very specific time. Let's see if the sells here are like, all right, it's updated. No, the buys here look better. Yeah, unfortunately, the buys here look better, Sam. So, I mean, the sweep could happen there, but it looks like long term. Let me go with momentum. I mean, no, I mean the buys here still look better. It's not very strong, but the buys here do still look a little better for the most part. You're looking for reversal, so obviously we want to go against momentum. But the reversal does look better here with regard to the number. It's not, again, it's not a high probability, but it shows that 43% of the time. So 43.75% of the time it reverses. So basically 7 out of the 16 times it does sweep at this area at this specific time, 7:32. So um yeah, I mean you have a little bit of probability, but it's not very strong, Sam, with regard to this directional move. Like I said, when I'm taking trades, I'm only taking stuff that has above a 65%. So, but hopefully this helps kind of with your analysis there, whether you want to take it or not. It just shows that it's a little weak for the most part. And the cool thing with this is that I can just keep going up, right? So for example, if you're still looking to get into this trade, I can go over here to 33 and you can see the actually the probabilities are worse. Yeah, at this point, you should probably not take the sell and then I mean the buy probably looks like it'd be better, actually. Uh okay, yeah, good decision on skipping that right there. All right, I'm updating my trader sync right now. All right, it's updating. Okay, so as my trader sync updates, guys, let's see, we got some team profits over here. So nice work, guys. Jonathan over here locked in about 1,000 for the day, 971. Nice work, Jonathan. Solid work there. And we got Emily over here. She locked in 2,475. Great work, Emily. I'm taking that buy earlier. And we have Jarrell over here. Jarrell's been killing it. He's funded now, I believe, on these accounts. Locked in about one, two, three, four, about 5,000 for the day. Nice work, Jarrell. So amazing work right there, guys. If you guys have more profits to post up, feel free to send them into the chat over here, of course. Here are my profits for the day. I'm updating my trader sync right now, so in a few I'll have all of the orders lined up, but these are my profits for the day. This is my personal account, so I locked in about 3,000 on that trade. I took about like 15 contracts. Everybody else over here did. They're kind of mixed, right? This person took 5 contracts. This person took I don't know, 5 contracts. Honestly, I don't know exactly the numbers. Oh, this person took like 3 contracts, and this person took 5 contracts. This person took 1 contract. This client took X amount of contracts, but these are all the profits right here across all of the accounts. So amazing work right there, guys, for those of you. And yeah, lots of happy hedge fund clients today, of course, with that nice win. So, all right, let's get to that question. So that question from Darren, right? Let me see. Your question, Darren, was how to set up the stats. Okay, so Darren, I just want to make sure you're here right now. Are you here and you're paying attention? Because I want to make sure that you're following. If I'm going to go over this. Okay, perfect. Okay, so Darren's been part of the group for a while, but he's like, this is his first time actually having the algo and using it. So for those of you who have the algo, this is kind of like a general explanation of like how to set up the settings for you. So let's use let me see what asset you asked. You said Nasdaq or gold. So let's go to NQ first. Let's go to NQ and I'm going to so if you guys don't have the or if you guys have the indicators, of course you need to have the indicators to have the algo. Basically, the first thing you want to do is go to your indicators, go to your invite only scripts, and then turn on the Kodi Kai momentum algorithm. You turn that on right there. It shows your it's going to load up right here, obviously with the settings. Once this here loads up, I will kind of play with the settings here to show you what you should have on your chart. The algo does take a little while to load up sometimes because it's a lot of code. The code is very code heavy, so it takes a while for it to compile and process. But once it's done, there we go. Okay, so Darren, looking at this here, this is what it looks like, right? You might not have the numbers here. So like I mean, I think you asked me what plan you need to apply it. So here's the settings. Basically right here, you would want to have this momentum. You can have it set to chart, but I like to just set it to one so I know exactly what it's on. This is where you would set your target, your TP stop loss. Again, NQ is different from YM, right? For YM, I use 40/20, but then I go in increments of 10. So if you wanted to do that with NQ, I don't know exactly what the numbers would be, but I'll just put some random numbers here to kind of play around with it. The next thing you want to do is you don't want to set times. It doesn't really matter. You're gonna have your screen right here. This is where it's important. So depending on what plan of trading view you have, this here might look blank, right? If it's blank right here, then you just got to change this number here. It's default set to 15. You typically need premium to use 15. All you need to do is change this to 10. You change this to 10 right there or less than 10. So if 10 doesn't work, you can see right here it's updating. If 10 doesn't work and it's still blank, then just change this to like 8. You just got to go to a little number because if you're on a lower than premium plan with TradingView, you can only load so much data on the chart at a time. That's the downside, right? It's a downside of having under like less than a premium account, but you can still make it work. There's ways around it. You just kind of have to figure out how to get around the TradingView settings to have data here that applies for that. So with that being the case, Darren, right here now, I mean, it's still updating, but whatever, it'll load up. But once it loads up, this is where you'll set up your times. So basically, depending on where you want to see entries, you would set up your times here for wherever you want to look for entries, right? So for example, here, NQ is based on Central Time, so it's going to be 2 hour difference. Right here, we have it set to 500, which is technically, I don't know where you're located, Darren, but it's CST time. I'm in Pacific time in California, so it's going to be a 2 hour difference. So right here, it shows 5, but we're really looking at 3 o'clock, right? Because it's 2 hour difference for me. So depending on where you're located, you just kind of do that math, or you don't have to do the math. You can pull up a website, timezoneconverter.com, something like that, to see what the time is for where you're located. And this is where you would set it up. So like depending on where you want to look at, this is kind of a big range, right? 500 to, or basically 3 o'clock until 10 a.m. For me, I like to trade between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock, right? Or 9 o'clock. So I would change this actually to 6 o'clock, which is going to be 800. And the end time will be 9 o'clock, which is going to be like 1100, right? So I just set that there. And then you can see right here that the report is updating. And then as it updates, you'll see over here that the list is going to change a little bit, right? So say, for example, you wanted to trade like Asia session. For whatever reason you want to trade Asia session, you don't have to look at what's happening during New York. You can always change the settings over here to that specific time. Right. But obviously, you're going to find the best entries during New York session because New York session is when the markets is most volatile for this specific asset NQ. So with that being the case, you can see over here, this shows you the top 10 entries with the probabilities right here with the sample range. So for example, right here, 910, you could put this into your statistics. Like say, for example, you want to look deeper into this specific entry, right? So now that you have this list over here, you're like, okay, I want to see what the actual statistics are for this trade. So you go to 910. That's going to be 7:10 a.m., right? 7:10 a.m. You'll put that in right there. And then again, this thing will change based on your TP stop loss. So I don't have a specific number because I don't trade NQ, but you can play around with it. You can change it between, usually what I do here is I'll start at like a baseline, right? I'll start at a baseline of like 100 to 50, and then I might change this a little bit to like 40 to 80. And I'll just kind of see where the best probabilities are. I'll just kind of go through those numbers until I get the best probability. Like right here, it's like 70%. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should use a different TP stop loss. So it's going to take a little bit of work on your end, but you know, as you continue to play around with the settings, just make sure to take notes. So if you see that the probability is really high for a specific TP stop loss, then just write that down, right? Okay, in the future, look at this specific TP stop loss at this specific time. And then you kind of just build your data set so that in the future, it's going to be easier to just look for specific entries, right? So like looking at this right here, um, and you can see the numbers here changed a little bit because I changed the TP stop loss. So Right here, this is at 7:10 a.m. And right here, you can kind of see that the probabilities here are pretty good, right? 64%. You look at trade analysis, you're like 71% for buys. Okay, for sure, I'm gonna take buys if that comes up, etc. All right, yeah, Darren said, gotcha. I have a table generated, but the direction column is only width. Um, if that's the case, then if then that's the data what it calls for, Darren. So if that's the case and it only says width, then that's because the highest probability trades are going to be with momentum. So it's going to give you the top 10. You want to check down here. So make sure that right here says with, comma, against. If that's the case, then it's gonna generate both. But whatever's showing up over here on your screener, it has the highest probability. So yeah, it's only showing that because that's where it has the highest winning trades, which is with. And you typically want to go with momentum anyways. So just keep that in mind. You typically want to go with momentum because with momentum, you're going with price movement. And then if you're going against, it's going to go as a reversal. So you just want to make sure, like ideally, you want to go with momentum versus against it. But if it goes against it, it's completely fine. It's just you're going to be going against the direction of price. Yeah, no problem. So yeah, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, I'm gonna be working on my Trader Sync right here in the background for a second as I update everything real quick. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna update a couple things here. But if you guys have any questions, if you want me to explain anything, if you want me to kind of go over anything really, if you want me to go over the hedge fund, again, if you guys are new here and you guys want me to trade for you, so for example, every account over here is an account that I traded for, right? So like basically I traded for everybody here. If you don't want to trade and you just want to like hang out on the live session and you want me to trade for you, this service is available to you. You just need a minimum of 10,000 to put into your trading account. And then all you do is go to the website. The website is kodikaicapital.com. Click on this interested in investing button. Once you click on that, this form is going to come up. You're going to put in your information in here. I'm going to send this information to the regulators. They're going to give me either an okay or a no, whether I can trade your account. If they give me the okay, then we're going to onboard you and then I'll start trading for you. So if you guys are interested in that, here's the thing that a lot of people are doing. They're investing in the hedge fund so that they can have monthly cash flow, right? So I trade for you, and then every day you're going to make money from my trading, or hopefully you're going to make money from my trading if I win trades. So you have this consistent cash flow on this side, right? Money just comes in this side because I'm trading for you and I'm taking the best possible entries. And then on this side, you could also trade your prop accounts, right? So like you're gonna get money from me trading your accounts, and then you could put that into buying prop accounts so that you can trade prop on this side. So you make consistent money from hedge fund here, and then you buy prop accounts, and then you can make money both ways, right? You kind of double up your profits. You can trade your own accounts, and then you can also make money from just the hedge fund side. So you guys can kind of see that it's a no-brainer. It's basically you're getting consistent profits from one side, and then you're having risky profits on this side where where you will be basically trading your own accounts. So just I'm just putting it out there for you guys. If you guys are interested in that, it's available to you. Like I said, with the hedge fund, we are moving to the institutional broker. We're currently using NinjaTrader right now, but we're going to be moving to StoneX probably this week or within the next couple weeks. I'll be onboarding clients into here instead. And this is going to be a big, big change for us because we're going to be trading with the institutional broker, and it's going to be institutional orders that are going to be put in. So for example, here, see how like all of these, I mean, you're not going to see very much difference here, but you're going to see a little bit of some slippage, right? Oh, let me see. There's some slippage right here, right? This one got 615. This one got 615. This one got 785. This probably should have been 1,000. You're going to see slippage right across the accounts. When we trade with the institutional broker, we're going to be putting block orders in. So the reason why you're seeing some slippage here is because every account enters individually, right? When I hit a buy entry from today, basically every account, when I hit buy, everybody hit buy at different times. That's why like the profits are a little different. When we trade with this institutional broker, we're going to be putting a block order. So we're going to put a fat order of like, 500 to 1,000 contracts, and then it's going to average out price. So everyone's going to have basically the same amount of profits, whatever based on the risk. So it's going to be better because everyone's going to have more equal profits. We're going to kind of have this big pool of profits, and it's going to be allocated across everybody. versus everyone kind of having slightly different, right? Because obviously people are going to be upset if they made less than the other person. Like, okay, so here's one example. Like these are two people, right? One person made 2,920. I know it's not a big difference, but these two hedge clients might talk to each other and be like, "Hey, how much did Sean make you today?" "Oh, he made me 2,950." And this person's like, "What the heck? Why did I only make 2,920? Like $30 difference." I know it's not a big difference, but if this happens a lot of times, they're gonna be like, "Why are you making more profit than me?" or so. And it's not because I'm doing that on purpose. It's because your account just executed a split second later than the other person. So yeah, it's it's gonna make a big difference once we start to move over to the institutional side. David said, I noticed the majority of my losing trades are usually against. Yeah, and I agree with you, Dave. That's why, like for me personally, I don't like going against momentum as much. I prefer to go with momentum because we just ride that wave to wherever it's going. Let's see. CJ had a question here. CJ said, "Hey, Sean, I know we didn't take the 7 o'clock entry because you were distracted, but what is your analysis? Is this one you would have skipped even though it won?" So let's see. So I skipped it mainly because it wasn't part of my target entries. Um, but the numbers here did line up pretty nicely. So let's go and take a look at that real quick. So the 7 o'clock entry was with momentum. And let's just break down the numbers here. So the reason why this didn't reach my criteria is because I added up the probabilities and it didn't add up to at least 65%. So overall probability here was 58.82. Well, it's not going to add up now. It's actually going to be higher because this trade actually won, like you mentioned. But let's just add up the numbers over here, right? So 56.25 plus 71.43, that's going to be 127.68 divided by 200. And you can see here it was just slightly below it, CJ, right? It was slightly below it. Obviously I'd like it to be as close to 65 or above it as possible, but because it didn't reach 65%, this did not line up as a target entry for me. However, looking at this entry over here at 7 o'clock, like you mentioned, let's go back to 7 o'clock. Yeah, so this entry right here at 7 o'clock, it was with momentum. And if you look at the numbers here, the numbers actually line up pretty well for the buy there. In different aspects, right? So the standalone probability is not super high, but the probabilities with it winning on Tuesday were good, right? So 3 out of 3 recent wins, Tuesday's won, and the buys here had an overall probability of 71.43. So the entry I think was a good entry. It wasn't a great one. So for me, I'm only looking for great entries, right? Not really just good entries. I'm looking for great entries. But yes, the 7 o'clock entry here could have been good, but because it didn't meet the criteria for probability, I didn't take that and I decided not to label it as as a target entry. So let me go over here real quick. It's about to be 8 o'clock soon. I'm just gonna go and update my trader sync again. Like I mentioned before, guys, unfortunately, my trader sync doubles up on positions. So I'm gonna have to go through here and unfortunately uncheck a bunch of these accounts. I think what I might have to do, and this will probably happen next year, is I'm gonna have to purge like the extra accounts that are listed on here because um yeah, because it's just a lot of work for me to go in and then here's a problem. Every time I take off the trades, it ends up just putting them back on. It's a little annoying, but eventually I'm gonna have to figure out a workaround because it takes a while for me to go and just make these changes. It doesn't take that long, but yeah, I mean I don't need to complain about it because it's not really a crazy amount, but it is kind of annoying that I have to go through and uncheck these accounts that aren't actually there. Thankfully, it's only like a handful. Okay, I think I'm almost ready. Okay, I just have one more here that I have to update, and I think we're good. Man, I kind of feel bummed, not bummed, but I kind of feel bad for Chantel. I don't think you're on here right now, but Chantel, she's the only hedge fund client that didn't execute. I don't know why it happens, but her account was set to liquidation only. Again, if you guys are a hedge fund client, I'm gonna try to get that. So this is another reason why we're moving over to an institutional broker is that we won't have that problem because it'll be in block orders. But for some reason, Chantel was the only person that had an error on hers. And you know what? It happens. There's technical difficulties, of course. I just wish she would have got it because that would have been her first day of profits as a hedge fund client. It's all good. There's gonna be more trades. All right, almost done with this here. Okay, so I think we're good. So let me go over here. I'm gonna drag this over. Let me see if there's any more questions before I get to the totals for today. Let's see. Flynn said, I don't have 10K yet, but once I do, I'll send the money to your hedge fund. I can see you are one of the realest ones out here in the trading industry. Yeah, bro, of course, it'll be open to you. So whenever you're ready, you can always fill out the form. Or I probably don't fill out the form yet if you're not ready, but once you're ready, you can go to the website, kodikaicapital.com, click on this interested in investing form, and then, just fill out your information and we'll go from there. Yeah, definitely appreciate that. And here are the stats for today. So let's go to the calendar. Okay, guys, so here are my profits for the year so far. I think this is correct. I hope it's correct. I mean, I don't know if the numbers here are a little off, it's because I unchecked a couple like the double accounts that were listed on my TraderSync, but there might be like maybe a little discrepancy. But anyways, here are the trades I took for today. Again, these aren't all the accounts, right? If you count the numbers of accounts that I have here, um, if you count the number of accounts that I have over here, I have a lot more accounts that are here, and I'll show you on scale as scale. So let me share real quick. So you can see these are way more than 41 accounts, right? There's a lot of accounts that are here. I just don't, in order for me to put these accounts on TraderSync, I have to log into every single account one by one, and I'm not going to do that while we're here on the live session. That's just too much work, or you guys have to wait forever for me to do that. But anyways, here are the accounts right here. I think this is almost like, it's close to 100 accounts here that I'm trading. Or like closer to 80, maybe 80 to 100 accounts. And you can see over here, the TraderSync only documented 41 trades. There should be more, of course. So right now it shows that I made 45,060 for the day. This is probably closer to like maybe 60, 70, 80,000 total. But yeah, only one trade for this week so far. I took this trade here, 45,000. And then for the month so far, we're currently at 448,920. And then for the year so far, we've pushed it past our goal. My goal for this year was to make 1 million, of course. We're already past that. Now my goal to close this year out is to get net. So this is the gross profits and then minus fees and commissions. This is actually where it's at. So we're at gross over 1 million. We're at 1,064,575. But I'm gonna try to get this here, the net, past that, right? We have a pretty good win ratio. Our win ratio is currently at almost 65% for the year. I'm doing about a 1 to 2 risk to reward. My profit factor over here is about 2. This is just kind of skewed because earlier in the year, so basically between January and like April, we were doing like a 1 to 1. So we're kind of slowly building up to that 1 to 2. But yeah, pretty good. You can see over here my daily profits. Typically on a winning day, I'm making about 45,060. And then on a losing day, um, or I mean, you can see right here, my biggest profit typically is like 26,000. My biggest loss is about 5,000. So I mean, the numbers here don't really matter. Like really what you want to see is the long-term equity curve here as price, builds up and grows. But yeah, those are my profits overall for the day and for the week and for the month and whatever. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. But it is about to be 8 o'clock right now, so I think we're about to wrap this up for the day. Let's see, question over here from David. David said, how smooth do you expect the move to the new institutional broker will be? Will everything transfer from NinjaTrader automatically? So I'm not sure exactly, Dave. This is the first time with me moving to an institutional broker, but they do a lot of like they're very hands-on with like moving the clients, right? Because the faster that I can transition people over to StoneX, the institutional broker, the faster they make money off our commissions, right? Because they're going to be charging us a little more in commissions. Like I think right now I'm paying like maybe like 53% or sorry, 53 cents per contract. I think theirs is gonna be closer to $1. So we're gonna pay a little bit more, but we're gonna have better service, right? Like I'll have an actual account manager on the institutional side that's gonna be handling everything. So I don't know exactly how it's gonna work. I think what might happen is you might just have to sign up for a second account, or not a second account, but a different account with the broker. And then I think the onboarding is a lot better. So like once you sign up with them, you're going to be put into this block account. Like you're going to be able to, the cool thing is you're going to have a portal so you can see everything and you can see my statistics and you can see everybody's profit together rather than just seeing your account. You'll see like the whole hedge fund as a whole company versus just you seeing your own account. So I think it's gonna be pretty smooth, but when I spoke to the institutional manager yesterday, we actually have another meeting today. He basically said that it's going to take about a week. So basically a week to sign up, to funds to clear, for us to get everything set up, and then from there it'll be good. So I know you have a lot of like a lot of your the funds for trading in the NinjaTrader account because you're like you have one of the bigger accounts. So for you. Yeah, unless because I think, you might have to transfer over the funds. I think you could slowly, for you, we do a slow transition for you. So what we do is probably transition maybe like a good chunk of your funds to StoneX. Because, obviously you have to withdraw, has to clear, has to send over, and then go over StoneX. We'll transfer like your funds in like one big chunk. And then so you can keep trading, right? So we don't have to have like a dead period for trading. So we can like slowly fill your account on StoneX and then will just eventually move all of your funds from NinjaTrader to StoneX. Unless you have like an extra 50K hanging around, right? You might, who knows? I don't know. Maybe you have an extra like money just kind of sitting around where you can open an account with StoneX, deposit those funds, and then you basically just close out your Ninja and take that money out on like a little bit later. So it kind of just depends. I know for you it's going to be a little different because you have a bit more funds in your Ninja account versus versus someone with 10K, right? If someone has a 10K account with Ninja, they probably have an extra 10K where they can just deposit it to StoneX and then kind of just close out their Ninja account. Or you don't even have to close it out. You can still keep it open. But yeah, the process is probably going to take maybe about a week. It might be quicker. It just kind of depends on how I pick up on things because I still need to figure out how to use the platform, how to execute the trades, how to make sure everything's in order. Um, but we'll give it maybe like a month's timeline, David. So a month's timeline for the actual transition to happen. So we're thinking maybe like mid-November, late November, we'll have everything fully transitioned over. But I think the onboarding process should take about a week. All right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, I think we're gonna wrap this up. It's about to be, or it's already 8 o'clock actually. It's already 8 o'clock, and I think we're pretty much done overall. But all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Great trading day overall, right? We only took one trade for the day, which is this buy entry over here. There just wasn't many opportunities here, but like I said, we identified the perfect opportunity. We got into it, we executed on it, we got in, got out, and moved on with our day. So. All right, guys, if you guys have any questions, hit me up on Discord. Again, if you guys are interested in investing in the hedge fund, if you want to be one of these accounts here, locking in profits, pretty much hands-free every day, just go to the website, kodikaicapital.com, click on interested in investing here, fill out the form, and then we'll go from there. But all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session.